The mind doesn't always want growth. It wants comfort. It wants ease. It wants familiarity. When effort appears, the mind negotiates. Not today. Not now. Later. Most people listen. Something changed in you. You stopped asking for agreement. Your mind is built for safety, not progress. It avoids strain. It avoids discomfort. It avoids uncertainty. That resistance isn't weakness. It's biology. You stopped mistaking it for truth. The body is ready. The mind isn't. Every workout begins with mental friction. People who wait for motivation never move. You moved anyway. They wait until thoughts feel positive, until energy feels aligned, until excuses disappear. That moment never comes. You stopped waiting for it. You realized something important. Thoughts are suggestions, not commands. You don't need agreement to act. That realization gave you control. Once you start moving, the mind loses volume. Doubt fades. Resistance weakens. Action stabilizes the system. You use that. Muscle doesn't respond to thoughts. It responds to tension, to repetition, to effort. You stopped debating and started applying. Most people try to think themselves ready. You learn to move first. The mind follows the body, not the other way around. They analyze. They justify. They delay. Their potential stays theoretical. You stepped out of theory. Every workout completed, without mental support, strengthened something deeper. Self-authority. You didn't try to quiet it. You ignored it. You let it complain while you worked. That's mastery. Hard conversations, difficult choices, unclear situations. You train for those moments by acting anyway. They think they're being careful. They're actually postponing growth. You noticed the pattern and ended it. You didn't wait for your mind to agree. You didn't argue with it. You didn't motivate it. You didn't convince it. You moved. That's rare, because the mind is persuasive. It sounds reasonable. It sounds protective. But it doesn't build strength. The mind does not exist to make you strong. It exists to keep things familiar, safe, predictable, unchanged. That's its job. And that's why it resists effort. Most people think resistance means something is wrong. They think it's a sign to stop. You learn something different. Resistance is normal. Every serious effort begins with friction. Not physical friction. Mental friction. The mind questions. Why today? Why now? Why push? It sounds logical. It sounds reasonable. That's what makes it dangerous. Most people obey that voice. They wait until it quiets, until it agrees, until it feels supportive. That moment rarely comes. You stopped waiting. You moved anyway. Acting while the mind resists is not aggression. It's authority. It means the mind is no longer in charge of behavior. You didn't try to silence it. You didn't try to fix it. You didn't argue with it. You acted. That single shift changes everything. Because action rewrites hierarchy. The gym reveals this clearly. The hardest part of training is not the weight. It's starting. While the mind complains. Once movement begins, the mind loses leverage. Complaints fade. Resistance weakens. Not because the mind changed, but because the body took control. Movement stabilizes the system. Thoughts settle. When action is consistent, most people wait for the mind to become supportive. You learn the opposite. The mind follows action. That lesson applies everywhere. Work. Life. Pressure. The mind resists growth. In every area. You stopped asking, "Do I feel like doing this?" You started asking, "Is this necessary?" And then you moved. That removes negotiation. No debates. No bargaining. Just execution. Every time you acted without mental support, you trained something deeper than motivation. Self-command. Self-command is rare because it requires discomfort. Without explanation, the mind wants reasons. It wants stories. It wants comfort. Action doesn't. Action only requires direction. Most people think mental strength means positive thinking. It doesn't. It means acting, even when thinking is negative. You didn't need belief. You didn't need confidence. You needed movement, and you provided it. Over time, something changed. Resistance didn't disappear, but it lost authority. The mind still speaks, but it no longer decides. That's real power. Not silence. Not calm. Control. People who obey their mind live reactively. People who act despite it live deliberately. Deliberate living compounds. Reactive living loops. When the mind resists and you act anyway, you build trust with yourself. Not emotional trust. Operational trust. You know you'll move. Even when it's uncomfortable. Even when it's inconvenient. Even when it's unwanted. That trust removes fear. Because fear loses leverage. When it can't stop action, the mind often resists. Right before growth. Right before adaptation. Right before progress. Most people turn back there. You pass through. And every time you pass through, your threshold rose. What once stopped you became background noise. That's how identity changes. Not through affirmations, through behavior. You are now someone who does not need internal agreement. You act first. Alignment comes later. That makes you stable. Not emotionally stable. Structurally stable. Life will always create resistance. Uncertainty. Doubt. Fatigue. You train for that. By acting daily. Without cooperation from the mind. When pressure arrives, you don't freeze. When doubt appears, you don't stall. You move. That's why your strength feels different. It's not emotional. It's dependable. You don't need the mind to be quiet. You don't need it to be positive. You only need it to stop deciding. And it has. Just real strength built by those who act. Even when the mind resists. The mind is not designed to make you powerful. It's designed to keep you comfortable. To avoid effort. To avoid uncertainty. To avoid discomfort. So when growth appears, the mind pushes back. That resistance doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're doing something real. Most people stop at resistance. They think it's a warning sign. They think it means, not now, or not today. So they wait. You didn't. You acted anyway. Acting while the mind resists is not force. It's leadership. It means behavior is no longer controlled by emotion or internal debate. The gym shows this clearly. The hardest part of a workout is not the weight. It's starting while the mind complains. Once the body moves, everything changes. Doubt fades. Noise quiets. Focus sharpens. Not because the mind suddenly agrees, but because action took control. Most people try to fix their mindset first. They want motivation. They want confidence. They want certainty. You stop chasing that. You learn that movement creates stability. That action organizes the mind. Every time you trained, without mental support, you built authority over yourself. You proved, I can move without permission. That's real mental strength. Not positive thinking. Not hype. Reliability. The mind will always resist effort. That never ends. What changes is who's in charge. At first, the mind decides. Later you do. When resistance shows up now, you don't negotiate. You don't explain. You move. That removes delay. Delay is where momentum dies. Action keeps it alive. People who obey their mind stay stuck in preparation. People who act despite it build real capacity. Capacity beats motivation. Every time. Because motivation disappears. Discomfort stays. You train to move anyway. That skill transfers everywhere. Training, work, life, hard conversations, difficult decisions, unclear situations. The mind resists. You act. And because you act, fear loses power. Doubt loses leverage. Resistance becomes background noise.